Good morning, everybody, and this is Burke Lyle. Whether you're listening from Washington, D.C., if you happen to be a Nationals fan who happens to get a hold of this video, or whether you might be elsewhere or just a baseball fan in general, but on this YouTube video, the Nationals are going to the World Series. The Nationals are going to the World Series. And it's been quite a wait. It's been a long time. It's been an unbelievable season. I remember when I first came on the air, one of my earlier videos, I went on air October 1st. I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to wear a Nationals hat and sunglasses. Well, today, I still have the same look. Nationals hat and sunglasses. And the luck has worked. Since today the Nationals are in the World Series, I'm going to have this look throughout the World Series. And win or lose, the day after the World Series, I'll still have the look. Since this has been the lucky Nationals hat and lucky sunglasses, it's been a great run. I mean, they beat the Brewers. Think about it, when they're down 3-1 to the Brewers. One throws up the bases loaded facing Josh Hader. And the 20-year-old hits a 3-run single that is also an error. A week later, hits the game-tying home run against Clayton Kershaw. And then the Howie Kendrick grand slam. It's time for St. Louis. Anibal Sanchez pitches 7 2/3 no-hit innings. And then finally, Scherzer, 6 no-hit innings, strikes out 11, and Strasburg striking out 12 on that very night against the Cardinals, having one of the best games of his career, who they drafted #1 overall back in 2009, when the franchise hit one of its lowest points ever, really. In came Strasburg, and now it is all paid off. He is pitching in the World Series. How about Patrick Corbin, who they spent $140 million on? Struck out the side in the first inning, 5 out of 6, 10 out of 12. Ended up with 12 strikeouts in 5 innings last night. How about the bullpen last night? For the first time, they cannot just use Doolittle and Hudson. In comes Tanner Rainey. Doolittle gets 5 outs. And Daniel Hudson gets 4 outs. And the Nationals, once again, are in the World Series. The Nationals are in the World Series. I can't believe this. I've all year long I wondered, was this the year? Is this the year? In spring training, you're optimistic. You think so? But it did not seem the case. Come Memorial Day, May 24th, they were 19-31. It appeared that their season was over. People thought Davey Martinez would be fired. Now Davey Martinez is the manager of the World Series Washington Nationals. How about that? Davey Martinez. I mean, how many people thought he'd be fired on Memorial Day? How many people thought he'd be fired? Myself, I thought he'd be fired. I thought, oh no, he's going to get fired. It's going to be bad. They're going to rebuild. I always thought they're going to go to the World Series at some point. I guess this year's not the year. It may be a few years down the road. But no, this is the year. Davey Martinez said the word. Stay in the fight. Stay in the fight. And it worked. And they did stay in the fight. And they kept clawing their way back towards 500 throughout the rest of the season. Think about I'm trying to think. They just kept getting better and better. They plowed through June. Things got better in June. Things got better in July. And in August, they even challenged the Braves. And I remember moments that I was there. I was there when Trey Turner hit the walk-off home run against the White Sox. Could we have envisioned that that the Nationals would be in the World Series that day? Probably not. Not many people around baseball did. But they won that. And then you go on to after that. Scherzer had some masterful performances. Scherzer hurts his back. They think, can they get it done without Scherzer in July? And for parts of August. They did. They did. I remember walking out of SunTrust Park on the night of September 7th. I went on the 5th as well after they lost 3 in a row, wondering, is it over? Is the division over? It was. But now, the Nationals are in the World Series. I wouldn't have thought it then. It's been an unbelievable run. How about clinching the playoffs on September 24th? September 24th, clinching the playoffs. It was a celebration, but you wondered how long will this last? You kind of had a week to celebrate that point right there. October 1st, I was wondering all day whether they'd win or not, and it appeared they wouldn't until Juan Soto came up. How about Steven Strasburg pitching great in Game 2 against the Dodgers, going 6 strong innings? To then Max Scherzer coming out of the bullpen in the 8th inning to be the setup man. They win that. Fast forward, their season's on the line. Scherzer's pitching against the Dodgers. They're down 2-1. If they lose, it's it. Scherzer goes 7 innings and gets 10 strikeouts. In Game 5, how about Howie Kendrick's grand slam? Oh, and by the way, series MVP. Howie Kendrick is the series MVP for the Nationals as he hit 3 doubles in Game 4. Drove him in. Drove in a run in Game 1 as well. How about all those moments? Completely shutting down the Cardinals' offense. By far their best offensive performance of the series was that really Game 4 in the middle innings. They scored 4 runs that game in the entire series. Just 6. And the Nationals earn a sweep. I mean, this is unbelievable. Fire Davey. He shouldn't be the manager anymore. Trade Scherzer. Trade Rendon. It's time to start a rebuild. It's over. They're on pace to lose 100 games. No. No. How about that 8-0 run the last week of the season? How about extending the run against the Cardinals, against the Brewers? How about beating the Dodgers? How about all that? All those moments. And now they're in the World Series. How about Ryan Zimmerman, who got there in 2005 as a 20-year-old? Played through all the bad teams in RFK Stadium to then opening Nationals Park a walk-off home run. And now is in the World Series. Sure has battled a lot of injuries. Oh, and Bryce Harper left. Bryce Harper's now in Philadelphia. And the Nationals in the first year post-Bryce Harper are going to the World Series. How about that? No Bryce Harper, no problem. The Nationals are in the World Series. It's unbelievable. This is unbelievable. The Nationals are in the World Series. It's been a great run. And, I've enjoyed every moment of it. And really what I would do is just soak in the moments. Soak it in for the next week. It's going to be a while. Who knows when they'll go back. But for now, let's just enjoy this moment of the Nationals in the World Series. We'll do a preview show later. We'll talk more, but right now, I just want to get excited. Go Nats. And they're in the World Series. Hopefully they can win it. We'll see you next time.